can tell the woman watching right now just one thing, it would be still. The thing that you're seeking, the clarity, the healing, the peace, the understanding, the want to know your purpose, the desire to work and just fulfill something. It's really found in just being still, in seeking the Lord, being in your word, taking time to go for a walk, to sit in his presence. The world literally is shouting more, faster, prove yourself, do this, do that, be this, be that. But God speaks to us so quietly that if you're not careful to pay attention to his quiet voice, you will easily miss him. And while the world is calling you to do all of these things, God is calling us to stillness. He's calling us to hone in on his voice, that quiet, still voice. How are we supposed to hear him with all the works and all of the loudness? How are we supposed to follow that? Personally, as a mother of 5, as a wife, I find myself quickly becoming overwhelmed by the pressures that society tends to put on me, that I grab for myself and put it on like a backpack. I find myself to be easily overwhelmed in the day-to-day task to perform and to keep up. And me, Kendra, I easily slip away and I just become mom or wife or whatever list that I need to check off for that day or the season of life. And as I found myself becoming tired and weary and missing that stillness, I had to pray and ask God, what is happening? Why am I feeling so burdened, so overwhelmed? I remember when he revealed himself to me, he took all of the heaviness, all of the burden that I kept on myself that I didn't even know was physically weighing me down on my chest, on my back. He took it all away. And throughout these years, I have slowly filled my backpack again. And I truly count it as a blessing that I have been able to be aware that I need him. I think the danger is when we get so encapsulated in the world and the to-do list that we tend to grab for ourselves. I think we tend to wipe away what God is telling us that we're enough in, and we go and say, no, I can't be enough. The world says I need to do this, and this, and that's enough for me. But what you're saying is enough for me is not truly enough. Then comes the temptation to entertain the thoughts that we aren't enough, and we begin to spiral, undoing what the Lord has in place, or what the Lord has placed into us, telling us that we are enough. Why is it that we don't believe that we're enough when the Lord literally said that we were made in his image? If we're made in his image and he gave man dominion, then how could we ever not be enough? How could we ever not be enough when literally our God wanted us enough that he left his throne in heaven, gave up his divinity to become a man, to save us from ourselves, from our own sin, from our own destruction, so that we can be present with him for eternity? I have to ask myself that. How could I not be enough? He blessed me to be a mom. He blessed me to be a wife. He blessed me to be in relation with the people that he has placed in my life. He blessed me to take on the role that I have taken on. And the same for you, honey. The role that he has put you in this life, whatever it is that he is leading you to, it's not going to be fulfilled if you are taking on that role and saying, okay, God, you've given me this, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it in my own way. It's not going to work. We need to remember that God is calling us to hear him. We need to step away. We need to return back to the way that God intended for it to be, where he comes down and he's walking with us in the garden. He wants that for us all. He wants us all to recognize his voice. A sheep can recognize its shepherd's voice. Out of so many different voices, it can recognize the shepherd's voice. Our shepherd, who will leave all the others, the 99, to come and find us. We have to be able to recognize his voice when he comes, when he speaks, when he says, hey, and put your name. He loves us so much, and he wants so much for us. But we have to remember that our treasures are not found on this earth, that our works can never, ever be enough. That when we find ourselves being overwhelmed by the works that we're doing and the title that we have being our portion, that's not our portion, that we will never feel enough when we are finding who we are in the things that we're doing, or the positions that we have, or the things that we are able to attain down here on earth. Our treasure is literally stored in heaven. And so with that, we need to find ourselves more in the word. We need to find ourselves getting away from the outside noise and putting ourselves back into his presence. And that's where I am right now. I'm trying to find myself back in his presence because his voice is very quiet. As a wife and a mother, I often feel forgotten. I often feel like I'm just here to... Sometimes I honestly just feel like I am here to just be a wife to my husband and a mother to my children. And I feel forgotten, and I feel sad, and I feel so unseen. And I miss when I was able to be seen for who I am. And I miss when I was able to sometimes just be alone and free, and to have my own thoughts, and to have my own accolades and all of these different things. And I wonder what life would be like if I had chosen to go towards a career path or these different things. And lately I've kind of been held in that place. I stopped creating. I stopped doing so many things that was just for me, to fill my cup. And when that happens, I think it's important for us all to stop and say, Lord, will you remind me who I am in you? Will you remind me that I'm enough? Because God created you before he made you any of the things that you are doing today. When he created you in your mother's tummy, he knew exactly who you were. He knew exactly what you would do, but he never intended for you to do the things that you're doing without him. He never intended for me, he never intended for us to do any of the things that we are doing down here on this earth without him. And that's where we have to be careful, because the enemy is tricky. He's so tricky. He knows what we're predisposed to. For me, depression and mental health issues run in my family. So why would he not use those things to make me feel more bogged down, more less than? And oh, trust me, he uses my mind to plague me. And when I'm not going to the word to remind myself to put on the full armor of God, Ephesians 6, When I am not putting on the full armor of God, I am easily brought down to super, super lows. And that's not what God designed for me or for you. With social media, we have the ability to see everybody's life. We have the ability to see this person have this new vehicle, this beautiful house is on the market, that person's teeth is perfect and straight, this person's body is this or that, oh, look at this person's wardrobe. But the thing is, none of that makes a person. Yes, on the outside, it can make you more shinier, more prettier. The car can allow for people to see that you have this in your bank account or that, and that's just not the thing. Life is getting shorter. The Lord, believe it or not, is actually coming back. And at the end of our lives, we don't want to say, I was chasing a bag. I was chasing a Benz. I was chasing life so that I can have this and that accolade. Because when we go, that's not coming with us. Our treasure is not built down here. We can't take it all. We can't. And at some point, even if you leave things behind for your children or their children, at some point they're not going to have those things either. Things down here deteriorate. Our hope is saved for us in heaven. And we have to remember that. Our hope is literally found in Him. And we have to get to a place where that is truth and it's enough for us to believe for ourselves. And we are renewing our minds in Christ and not renewing our minds scrolling on Instagram, scrolling and looking for what is the next thing that we need to be. Because the Lord will tell you who you need to be, how you need to do it, when you need to get it done, and all of those things. The weight can be removed if we just put it in His care and in His hands. He is a God that says if He dresses the lilies, the fields, like the beautiful fields, this beautiful tree that I'm seeing over here. I'm watching the squirrels run around and eat their little food, and the ants out here doing its little work. Who told it to do that? The Lord. Who prepared these meals for the wilderness that's out here? All of the wild animals, all of the nature. God did. And He has a special place for you, but you have to be comfortable sitting in the wilderness and allowing for Him to speak to you. Because there's much manna out here for us. A lot. There's a lot of bread for us to consume, for us to live on, for us to thrive, that when you feel like you're not good enough, remind yourself that your worth is not found in the things that you can do. It's not found in how good of a mother, how good of a wife, how good of a friend, how good of a worker, how good of whatever it is that you feel like, oh, I just have to do. You don't have to. You have to get in His presence. So if you're with me and you're still seeking and you're trying to find God's voice in the day-to-day, in the busyness of life, I want you to drop a still seeking in the comments and let me know that you're with me. And we can seek together, we can elevate together. That's what this channel, this page is all about. Elevating closer to God, living a redeemed life by faith through grace. And I plan to add some practical ways, some action steps on Instagram. So if you are not following me, follow me at As Told by Kendra on Instagram. And I will share some practical ways this week of how we can get into His presence and seek His voice in the busyness of life, because the world is loud, but His voice is quiet, but He is louder than all the things out here. We just have to find Him. We have to seek Him. The Word of God says, knock and the door will be open. So knock, girl. He's waiting for you.